As a result, Disney thought it was a great idea. No, let me reiterate that. What exactly did Disney genuinely believe a 2025 theatrical re-release of Snow White, during the most embarrassing public outcry a studio has ever had over a single film, would achieve? Restore the brand, win people over, and redeem Rachel Zegler? Oh, no. They thought it would pay off. They actually thought there was still a chance for this disastrous venture to perform well at the box office. Spoiler alert? Not at all. Let's be honest about it. Across the country, Snow White was shown in about 1,300 theaters. A lot of individuals also developed an allergy to this movie as a result of the marketing chaos, PR missteps, memes, criticism, corporate damage control, and feminist manifesto press tour. After all that, it was able to gather around 200,000. It's not a typo. Not 200 million, not even 2 million. A Disney re-release would set you back $200,000. Let me clarify. How much is it to have 7 dives per screen for $50? Selling Make Disney Great Again. T-shirts from a lemonade stand outside one of these theaters may actually bring in more money. The average revenue per screen was less than the price of a small piece of popcorn and I mean it. It's far better to accidentally drop money into a sewer in New York. And the worst is yet to come. And that's before you factor in the cut of the theater chains. You know, each studio pledges to take 40 to 60% of the profits. Disney could have made around $100,000 in reality. That would pay the lighting crew for a single scene in a Marvel movie. However, the legendary property that essentially established the Disney brand, Snow White, was supposed to triumphantly return. The irony is poetic. It's executed horribly. Despite this significant setback, Disney is still crossing its fingers. According to the ghost of Walt Disney, they are still holding out hope that Rachel Zegler's interpretation of Snow White, which will debut on Disney Plus in June, will somehow redeem itself. Indeed, they still hope that their current subscribers, not new ones mind you, will willingly watch this movie disaster as if it were a family-friendly masterpiece. However, this is also DOA on Disney Plus. Let's face it. Public relations for the movie has already been a complete failure. It will now silently fail on streaming in addition to failing in theaters. Disney is out of place despite its claims to be progressive, modern, or uplifting. It's radioactive. As if the issue wasn't already seething, our courageous, unfiltered, unreformed Snow White Rachel Zegler is now making a comeback to the spotlight to right the record, or more accurately, to fuel the dumpster fire. In a recent interview, Rachel Zegler finally confirmed what we all thought. She had a major role in the destruction of Snow White. Not just the actress, not just the face on the poster. No. She was a creative force, co-architect, and contributor to this film masterpiece. When she states, "There were a lot of creative differences on this production." I quote her, "It was challenging for me to work with Gal Gadot since I didn't enjoy our chemistry. I became friends with Mark, Aaron, and Greta, and I placed a lot of pressure on them to renovate Snow. Analyze the hidden meanings. This goes beyond just an actor giving guidance. By entering a billion-dollar company, this 22-year-old rookie with a messiah complex is trying to change the narrative, the character, and even Snow White's identity. The history, hairstyle, and attire were all changed since Rachel Zegler didn't feel like playing the famous person. She wanted to make her own. She planned to create Snow Woke from the ground up. She was not influenced by the Grimm brothers, the 1937 Disney original, or even the countless little girls who grew up adoring Snow White as the first Disney heroine. No, she was driven by her own modern perspective, and Disney gave her permission to do it in its infinite. And what was that vision? Apparently, Rachel had had enough of Snow White being named for her. That was problematic. It was outdated and racist. So she suggested a new plotline. Snow White survived a blizzard and a snowstorm. I swear, I'm not making this up. That's how she came. It wasn't because she was as white as snow that she persisted in the face of. Ladies and gentlemen, we now live in a world where the environment dictates Snow White's name. I can't stress enough how brain-dead this redesign is. Imagine someone creating a fan-fiction version of a traditional fairy tale using a Tumblr fan-fiction generator and thinking, yeah, that's it. That's the movie. Rachel, of course, is still complaining about the blowback, memes, haircut, and attire being made fun of. She asserts that making fun of the character's attractiveness is young and immature, as if the entire point of a fairy tale film isn't to visually tell a story, as if looks isn't significant in a movie about a famous princess. Then she says this little fact: a large portion of the video was never included in the final cut since I was told that my acting was poor in a number of moments. Whoa! I'm shocked. Actually, are you implying that the performance could have been challenging for Rachel? Zegler, who in every press interview radiated a strong feeling of superiority to Disney? You don't say. She even says she had to edit out a number of the action-packed scenes at the end of the film because the stunts weren't working. It is not only a production issue, there isn't a creative distinction there. That's a polite way of acknowledging the video's lack of value. Why wasn't it usable? Because Rachel Zegler wasn't qualified for the job. She did not respect the status. She made an effort to recreate it entirely, as though she were some kind of or. She is shocked to learn that it burst in her face. But this is when everything gets insane. Indeed, Rachel admits that she convinced Greta Gerwig, Mark Webb, and other creative team members to emulate her. They were persuaded by her vision. She is now angry, shocked, and offended that people are denouncing it. She says, "I created the character, so I take great offense to how people criticize her appearance and her backstory. If you were the one who created her, you are equally accountable for the failure. Playing the victim at the same time is not possible. You don't get to ruin the original material, change the legend, annoy the fans, and then whine when people don't agree with you." In addition, she disparaged the 1937 adaptation, called it odd, mocked the romance, said that Snow White didn't need a prince, and argued that the movie was made by untrained guys. She asserted that she wouldn't even let her younger relatives watch the first film. The fact that everything went wrong suddenly shocks her. To be clear, this is not review bombing. This has nothing to do with internet trolls, sexism, or any of the other clumsy terms that the Hollywood PR machine keeps coming up with. For Rachel Zegler and everything Disney has come to represent, this was a genuine cultural rejection. The bad news is that this isn't how things had to be. It's possible that Snow White earned billions of dollars. No exaggeration. There are generational overtones in the name alone. If they had done a true adaptation with love, care, and respect, it would have been a huge box office failure. Rather, they let it to be used as a pet project by a politically motivated lead actress who believed she was better than the original material. The 7 dwarfs were replaced with CGI rejects. They had reinvented the entire lore. Their presence drove off longtime fans. Additionally, they changed a princess into a passive-aggressive activist who holds anger toward the movie in which she was rewarded. I can assure you that the Disney Plus statistics will be terrible when they are released in June. We'll see why. Viewers are tired of being ridiculed, not because of misogyny or review bombing. We're not stupid. We can recognize when a studio is trying to mislead us. Despite her haughty comments and unsuccessful "I'm the new Disney" posturing, Rachel Zegler just accepted the truth. She was the cause of this catastrophe. She shaped it and now owns it. Therefore, maybe the next time Disney adapts a story, they should pick a cast member who actually likes the content. Maybe they should focus more on spectators instead than activist actors. Or maybe, just maybe, they should disregard the classics. But I'm only one man looking on from afar at the destruction. Kindly leave a comment with your ideas. Are you surprised that Rachel admitted to orchestrating this disaster, or did you foresee it from the beginning? Hollywood may be in ruins, but the destruction is only beginning. I hope to see you all on Woke Watch again soon. Please hit the like button and leave a comment.